Hey everyone, it's Emily. If you have ADHD or get distracted easily, you know the struggle. Today, I'm sharing 5 things that have been absolute game changers for me. But first, let's clear up a common ADHD misconception. So here's the thing, ADHD isn't just an inability to focus. For me, the 2 key things that defines ADHD is that the ADHD brain struggles with both understimulation and overstimulation. And then the second thing is that boredom is basically our kryptonite. And what's considered overstimulating or understimulating can be different for everyone. For example, most people find watching TV relaxing and fun, but for me, it's understimulating. That's why I like to crochet when I'm watching TV. But more on that later. On the flip side, a lot of people find reading boring, but I love it, especially when there are dragons and shadow daddies involved. If you know, you know. And the best part is that you don't have to overthink it. Your body and your brain will just naturally tell you what feels good. When something feels effortless and enjoyable, you've probably found it. Before we dive into my top 5 tips, let's talk a bit about medication. I want to be clear and say that I'm not against medication at all. In fact, I've personally tried both Concerta and Vyvanse, and I definitely saw improvements in my focus and my attention. But as of right now, I haven't found the right balance between the benefits and the side effects that works for me. That being said, I know medication is a godsend for a lot of people, and there's absolutely no shame in that. There's already too much stigma around ADHD and ADHD meds. I don't want to add to that. I'm just sharing what's working for me. So let's start with time. The Oxford Dictionary defines time as the indefinite continued progress of existence and events in the past, present, and future regarded as a whole. Okay, cool, but what does that even mean? Time is already a very complex and abstract idea. As somebody with ADHD, if I'm not seeing time pass, it's basically not passing. That's where the time timer comes in. It looks like a little alarm clock. Basically, you can adjust it to count down for 10 minutes, and then you can visually see this red piece is your amount of time, and it'll start counting down. For some reason, this helps me stay on track and provides a guardrail for tasks. Plus, it turns things into a sort of a game, making it a bit more fun because you're racing against time. Funny thing is, I actually bought this way before I was diagnosed with ADHD. In one of my previous jobs, I had to host workshops, and I read that this is very helpful to keep the entire group on track, because everybody can see the same amount of time that's remaining and that's passed. But when I bought it, it was marketed towards people with ADHD. So no wonder it's worked so well, because turns out I do have ADHD. Yay! If you have ADHD, chances are you deal with sensory overload or sensory sensitivity, meaning things like loud noises, bright lights, or even multitasking can feel a lot more intense. For me, household chores are the worst, especially vacuuming. That's where my Loop earplugs and my AirPod Maxes come in handy. These are such a useful little tool. I actually bought them at Tomorrowland last year. That's why it has the little Tomorrowland logo. The loops are technically designed for concerts, but I wear them for everyday use, just even at home. When I really need to get down to business and block things out, that's when I go for the AirPods Max. An added bonus is that you can listen to music or podcasts while you're doing chores. But sometimes I just use these with nothing on for the noise canceling function. It makes things like doing the dishes or vacuuming or just cleaning up the house way more enjoyable. So I like to crochet when I'm watching TV with my partner. And that's because watching TV can somehow be both understimulating and overstimulating for me. Sitting and watching and not doing anything else can make me feel fidgety, but sometimes some shows can also be really intense for my brain. And crocheting solves both of those problems because it keeps my hands busy, which helps with the understimulation, and when this show gets too intense or it's too scary, I can just focus on the stitch. Plus, it's really satisfying to create something that I actually use or gift. If crocheting isn't your thing, try anything that's repetitive that engages your hand but doesn't require too much focus. Writing things down is key for managing ADHD. When you write things down, whether it's a task or a random thought or the bread you need to buy at the grocery store, you free up that mental capacity. Our brains are super powerful, and I'd rather use mine to think rather than to hold thoughts. So this is where my handy dandy bullet journal comes in. And let me tell you, it's been absolutely life-changing. I used to just jot down tasks in a notebook, but by the end of the day, I had a long list of well-intentioned but unfinished tasks. The bullet journal works well because it's more than just a list, it's a system. Every task has a status. It's either to do, completed, or moved to another day. And no, bullet journaling isn't just about the cute fonts or the fancy stickers. It's actually very simple and basic to get started. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see a full breakdown of how I set up my bullet journal. Okay, this isn't medical advice. This is where it's important to mention if you're gonna make any sort of diet supplementary changes, make sure to check with your doctor, do your own research, and just be smart about it. But here are a few supplements that I've found to really help with my ADHD. First, it's fish oil. Dr. Andrew Huberman mentions that taking 300 milligrams of DHA a day, which is the omega fatty acids found in fish oil, can significantly help with focus and attention. And next is vitamin D. Where I live in Vancouver, it's rainy and gloomy for half of the year, so we're definitely not getting enough of the sun or vitamin D. That's why I take a vitamin D supplement, and vitamin D is crucial for mood regulation, and a deficiency in vitamin D is linked to ADHD symptoms, so I take a supplement of vitamin D as well. Next thing I take is a B12 supplement because B12 deficiency is also linked with ADHD symptoms, and this is something that your body can't produce itself, so you're not getting it enough from your food sources. It's a good idea to take a B12 supplement. Again, always consult with your doctor and do what works well for your body. But taking these supplements daily have been an absolute game changer for me. So there you have it, my top 5 game changers for managing ADHD. If any of those resonated with you or you have your own ADHD life hacks, please leave them in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And if you want more ADHD content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.